The morning sun cast long shadows across Millbrook's empty streets when Thomas Baker walked out of the factory for the last time. A worn cardboard box balanced in his trembling hands, filled with 15 years of memories, a faded photograph, a dented coffee mug, and a safety helmet that had protected him through countless working days. Around him, 50 workers shared the same stunned silence. The factory manager's words still echoed in their ears, closing immediately. No severance. No warning. Thomas was 42, a single father with a 16-year-old daughter depending entirely on him. His modest brick house on Maple Street stood as a silent witness to their struggles. Paint peeling near the windowsills, a crooked front gate, but it was home. A place of memories, of quiet love between a father and daughter who had survived together since losing their mother 5 years ago. Emma sat at the kitchen table when Thomas entered, her schoolbooks creating a protective barrier around her. She was smart, with her mother's gentle eyes and her father's stubborn determination. One glance at her father's face told her everything. "No more job?" she asked, her voice soft but steady. Thomas placed the box down and attempted a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "We'll be okay," he promised, though the words felt empty and uncertain. Millbrook had been dying slowly for years. Factories that once employed generations were shutting down one by one. Young people were leaving, chasing dreams in bigger cities with more opportunities. But Thomas and Emma remained, rooted to this place by memories and a sense of belonging that ran deeper than economic challenges. That evening, they shared a simple meal of beans on toast. Emma helped her father count their remaining money, both understanding their savings would barely cover 3 months of expenses. Yet no despair passed between them, only a quiet determination to survive. Thomas remembered his wife's words during difficult times: "We're stronger together." Those words had become their lifeline, a promise he repeated silently to himself and to Emma during their darkest moments. The town seemed to hold its breath. Empty shops lined the main street, for sale signs decorating abandoned storefronts. But Thomas saw something else: resilience in the faces of other workers, other parents fighting the same desperate battle for survival. Emma watched her father carefully. She knew he was more than just a factory worker. He was a mechanic who could repair almost anything, a listener who understood people, a father whose love knew no boundaries. Her school grades remained perfect, understanding that education might be their ticket to a better future. That night, as crickets sang outside and a cool breeze rustled the curtains, Thomas sat at the kitchen table. Spreadsheets of their expenses surrounded him, each number a potential threat, each calculation a strategy for survival. Emma brought him a cup of tea, placing it quietly beside him. "We'll figure this out," she said, her teenage voice carrying more wisdom than fear. Thomas looked at his daughter, tall, determined, with her mother's smile. In that moment, he knew they would survive. Not because it would be easy, but because they had each other. The town of Millbrook might be struggling, factories might be closing, but the Baker family had something more powerful than economic trends. They had hope. They had love. They had each other. Outside, the streetlights flickered on, casting soft shadows across their small home. Another day was ending, but tomorrow held promise. Tomorrow was another chance to rebuild, to fight, to hope. Thomas looked at the family photograph on the wall, his wife's smile seemed to whisper encouragement. "We've got this," he muttered, more to himself than to anyone else. Emma squeezed his hand, a gesture that said more than words ever could. They were a team. They would face this challenge together, one day at a time. In the quiet of their home, surrounded by memories and uncertainty, hope began to take root, silent, strong, unbreakable. The end. Universal message: true strength isn't about avoiding challenges, but facing them together with love and determination. The morning sun peeked through thin curtains as Thomas Baker prepared for another day of job hunting. His alarm clock, an old model his wife had bought years ago, ticked steadily beside a stack of carefully printed resumes. Emma heard her father moving around the kitchen, the familiar sounds of coffee brewing and toast popping. Millbrook looked different in the early morning light. Empty storefronts stood like silent witnesses to the town's economic struggles. Thomas walked with purpose, his worn leather shoes carrying the weight of determination. Each step was a promise to his daughter, a commitment to finding a way forward. The community center became his first stop. Bulletin boards covered in job postings looked like complex puzzles waiting to be solved. Margaret Wilson, the center's coordinator, watched Thomas carefully. She was a kind woman in her 50s, with eyes that had seen countless stories of struggle and hope. "Thomas," she called, waving him over to her desk. Papers were scattered everywhere, job training programs marked with colorful sticky notes. "I might have something that could help you." Thomas listened intently. A local workforce development program offered free training for workers displaced from manufacturing. Computer skills, basic business management, technical certifications, opportunities that seemed almost impossible just days ago. Meanwhile, Emma was preparing for school. She packed her lunch carefully, knowing every saved penny mattered. Her mathematics textbook was filled with sticky notes, a testament to her determination to excel. At 16, she understood more about their financial situation than most adults would expect. The local coffee shop, where Thomas used to grab morning coffee during his factory days, now felt different. Familiar faces looked tired, worried. Some nodded at Thomas, a silent understanding passing between workers who had lost their jobs. Margaret's training program was different from what Thomas expected. Instead of feeling like a charity case, he felt like he was being given a chance to rebuild. The classroom was filled with people from different backgrounds, all united by the same hope of finding a new path. "Your years of mechanical experience are valuable," the instructor told the group. "We're going to help you translate those skills into new opportunities." Thomas learned about computer systems, basic accounting, and small business management. His hands, once used to operating factory machinery, now carefully typed on keyboard keys. Emma helped him practice in the evenings, her patience teaching him more than any formal class could. The local garage became Thomas's first opportunity. The owner, Robert Henderson, had known Thomas for years. "Part-time work," he said, "but it's a start." Emma began helping too. She started tutoring younger students after school, earning extra money and building her own confidence. Their kitchen table became a workspace of hope, Thomas's job training materials mixed with Emma's school books. Neighbors started to notice their resilience. Mrs. Peterson from next door would sometimes bring homemade bread. The Baker family's spirit of determination was becoming a quiet inspiration in Millbrook. Some days were harder than others. Rejection letters arrived, job applications seemed to disappear into bureaucratic black holes. But Thomas never lost hope. Each closed door became another opportunity to try a different approach. "We're a team," he would tell Emma during difficult moments. "We'll figure this out together." The town seemed to watch and wait. Millbrook had seen tough times before, but the Baker family represented something special, a refusal to be defeated by circumstances. As weeks passed, something began to change. Thomas's confidence grew. The skills he was learning opened doors he never knew existed. Emma's tutoring money helped cover small expenses. Their evenings became filled with planning, hope, and quiet determination. The old photograph of his wife watched from the living room wall, her smile seemed to offer silent encouragement. Thomas knew she would be proud of how they were facing this challenge. One evening, as sunset painted the sky in warm oranges and pinks, Thomas and Emma sat on their small porch. The day's challenges felt manageable. They weren't just surviving, they were moving forward. "We're going to be okay," Thomas said, squeezing his daughter's hand. Emma smiled, understanding that hope wasn't just a word. It was a choice they made every single day. The end. Universal message: hope is not about avoiding challenges, but about facing them with courage and love. The local garage became Thomas Baker's lifeline. Robert Henderson, the owner, had known Thomas for years and offered him part-time work that felt like a small miracle. Thomas arrived each morning at 6, his hands remembering the rhythm of mechanical work, though now with a different set of tools and challenges. Emma watched her father transform. Where once he seemed defeated, now a spark of hope flickered in his eyes. The part-time job wasn't just about money, it was about rebuilding his sense of purpose. Each repaired car, each satisfied customer became a victory against their difficult circumstances. At home, their kitchen became a strategy center. Evenings were filled with careful budgeting, job training materials spread across the table. Emma's mathematics skills proved invaluable, helping her father calculate expenses and plan their next moves. The first real breakthrough came unexpectedly. A local business owner needed someone to repair industrial machinery. Thomas's years of factory experience suddenly became a valuable skill. His hands, strong and steady, worked with a precision that impressed even seasoned mechanics. Emma started tutoring younger students after school. What began as a way to earn extra money became something more. She discovered a talent for teaching, helping struggling students understand complex mathematics. Her confidence grew with each successful lesson. Neighbors began to notice the change in the Baker family. Mrs. Peterson from next door would bring homemade bread, leaving it on their doorstep with a note of encouragement. The community seemed to rally around them, small acts of kindness becoming a lifeline. Thomas's part-time work at the garage slowly turned into more consistent opportunities. Robert Henderson saw potential in him, offering more hours and more challenging assignments. Each week brought a little more stability, a little more hope. The town of Millbrook watched quietly. Other families struggling with job losses found inspiration in Thomas and Emma's determination. They weren't just surviving, they were finding a way to thrive despite challenges. One Saturday morning, Thomas received an unexpected call. A local manufacturing company needed someone with his exact skills, someone who understood both old machinery and new technologies. The interview felt different from previous job searches. This time, Thomas walked in with genuine confidence. Emma continued to excel at school. Her teachers noticed her increased maturity, her ability to balance academic excellence with family responsibilities. She became a silent hero in her own right, supporting her father's dreams while pursuing her own. Their small victories weren't just about money. They were about rebuilding hope, about proving that a family could survive and grow stronger through difficult times. Each small success felt like a celebration, a shared moment of triumph. The photograph of Thomas's wife continued to watch from the living room wall. Her smile seemed to offer silent approval, a reminder of the love that had always sustained their family. As months passed, small changes became visible. Their home looked a little brighter. The crooked front gate was repaired. Emma's tuition savings grew. Thomas's work opportunities expanded. They were writing a new chapter of their lives, one day at a time. Local community members began to see Thomas differently. He wasn't just a displaced factory worker, he was a symbol of resilience. His story inspired others facing similar challenges, proving that hope could be found in unexpected places. The garage became more than just a workplace for Thomas. It became a classroom of opportunity, a place where his skills could be reimagined and renewed. Robert Henderson saw more than just an employee, he saw a partner, someone who understood the true meaning of hard work. Emma's tutoring expanded. What started with a few local students grew into a small but steady income. She discovered a passion for teaching, for helping others understand complex ideas. Her confidence became a quiet strength that supported their family's journey. As winter approached, the Baker family sat together one evening, reviewing their progress. The table was covered with job applications, school notes, and careful financial plans. They weren't just surviving, they were building a future. "We're going to be okay," Thomas said, looking at his daughter. Emma smiled, understanding that their strength came from each other. Their small victories were building something bigger than themselves, a story of hope, resilience, and love. The end. Universal message: true success is not about avoiding challenges, but about facing them together with love and determination. The community center's workshop felt like a turning point for Thomas Baker. Rows of computers, walls covered with business development posters, and a room full of hopeful workers created an atmosphere of possibility. Margaret Wilson, the program coordinator, watched Thomas with encouraging eyes. "Your mechanical experience is more valuable than you realize," she told him during a break. Her words planted a seed of an idea that would change everything. The workshop taught more than just technical skills. It showed Thomas how to transform his years of factory and garage experience into a potential business. Spreadsheets, marketing basics, and small business management became his new language of hope. Emma helped her father prepare for each session. In the evenings, she would quiz him about business concepts, her 16-year-old mind sharp and supportive. Their kitchen table became a learning space filled with papers, dreams, and shared determination. A local business owner named Robert Thompson noticed Thomas during one of the workshop sessions. He was looking for someone who could manage equipment maintenance for several small manufacturing businesses in the area. Thomas's combination of practical skills and new business knowledge made him stand out. The first real opportunity came unexpectedly. Mrs. Peterson, their elderly neighbor, needed her garden equipment repaired. Thomas approached the job with professional precision, documenting the work, providing a clear estimate, and completing the repair efficiently. Word spread quickly in Millbrook. Small business owners who knew Thomas from his factory days began to see him differently. He wasn't just a displaced worker, he was becoming a problem solver, someone who could bridge the gap between old-school mechanical skills and modern business needs. Emma continued her own journey. Her tutoring expanded, and her school teachers recognized her growing confidence. She began helping her father develop basic marketing materials, using her computer skills to create simple but professional documents. The local garage where Thomas had been working part-time became his first potential client base. Robert Henderson introduced him to other business owners, slowly building a network of potential opportunities. A small home office began to take shape in their living room. An old desk, a second-hand computer, and determination became the foundation of Thomas's potential business. Emma helped organize files, learn basic accounting, and create a system that could support their new venture. The family's financial situation began to improve. Thomas's part-time work, Emma's tutoring, and the potential of a new business brought hope. Their evening conversations shifted from survival to possibility. Millbrook seemed to watch and wait. Other families struggling with job losses found inspiration in the Baker family's journey. Thomas wasn't just finding a new path, he was creating a roadmap for others to follow. The workshop's final session became a turning point. Thomas presented a basic business plan for a local equipment maintenance and repair service. His presentation was simple but powerful, a testament to his practical skills and newfound knowledge. Margaret Wilson approached him after the presentation. "You've got something special," she said. "A combination of practical skills and new business understanding that's rare in our community." Emma's support became crucial. She helped her father practice presentations, understand complex business concepts, and build confidence. Their relationship had always been close, but now it became a true partnership. The old photograph of Thomas's wife continued to watch from the living room wall. Her smile seemed to offer silent approval of their progress, a reminder of the love that had always sustained their family. As weeks passed, opportunities began to multiply. Small jobs turned into more consistent work. Thomas's reputation for reliable, professional service spread through Millbrook's business community. One evening, sitting at their kitchen table, Thomas looked at Emma with a mixture of pride and hope. "We're building something," he said quietly. Emma smiled, understanding that their journey was about more than just finding work. It was about creating opportunity, about proving that resilience could transform challenges into success. The seed planted in that community center workshop was growing. What had started as a desperate search for survival was becoming a story of hope, determination, and unexpected possibility. "We're going to be okay," Thomas said, squeezing his daughter's hand. The end. Universal message: opportunity often comes to those who are willing to learn, adapt, and believe in themselves. The morning sunlight spread across Millbrook like a promise of new beginnings. Thomas Baker stood outside his newly registered small business, Baker Equipment Solutions, a name that represented more than just a company. It represented hope, determination, and a family's journey through difficult times. Emma helped her father organize the first official workspace, a small rented garage at the edge of town. Tools carefully arranged, business cards printed, a second-hand computer set up for invoicing and communication. Every detail spoke of their shared dream. Their first official client came through Mrs. Peterson. Her garden equipment needed complex repairs, and Thomas approached the job with professional precision. He documented every step, provided a clear estimate, and completed the work efficiently. Word spread quickly through Millbrook's tight-knit community. Robert Henderson from the local garage became an unexpected mentor. He introduced Thomas to other business owners, helping him build a network of potential clients. Each introduction felt like another step towards stability. Emma continued her tutoring, now helping to fund small business expenses. Her mathematics skills proved invaluable in managing their financial records. She created spreadsheets, tracked expenses, and helped her father understand the business side of their new venture. The local community center celebrated Thomas's new business. Margaret Wilson, who had supported him through job training, attended the small opening ceremony. "This is what resilience looks like," she told the gathered neighbors. Thomas remembered his late wife's words about never giving up. Her photograph watched from their home office, a silent reminder of the love that had sustained them through difficult times. Each successful repair, each satisfied customer felt like a tribute to her memory. Winter brought challenges, but also opportunities. Local businesses needed equipment maintenance during the slow season. Thomas's reputation for reliable, honest work began to spread beyond Millbrook's boundaries. Emma's school counselor noticed the change in her. No longer just a student worried about family survival, she was becoming a young woman with confidence and purpose. Her own dreams of further education seemed more possible with each passing month. The first quarter of business brought modest but meaningful success. They weren't rich, but they were stable. More importantly, they had created something of their own. Thomas's mechanical skills combined with Emma's organizational abilities created a unique family business. Local newspapers picked up their story. A feature about a father-daughter team rebuilding their life after job loss inspired other struggling families in the region. Thomas and Emma became quiet heroes in their community. Community support played a crucial role. Neighbors who had known them through difficult times now became clients and supporters. Mrs. Peterson recommended Thomas to her friends. The local farming community discovered a reliable equipment repair service. As spring arrived, their small business began to grow. Thomas hired his first part-time employee, a young mechanic looking for opportunity. Emma helped with training, her communication skills proving as valuable as her mathematical abilities. Their home looked different now. The crooked gate was repaired. Fresh paint brightened the exterior. Small signs of economic recovery were visible everywhere they looked. Their journey had transformed not just their lives, but inspired their entire community. One quiet evening, Thomas and Emma sat on their front porch. The sunset painted Millbrook in warm colors, a beautiful backdrop to their remarkable journey. They had faced unemployment, financial uncertainty, and countless challenges. "We did it," Emma said, squeezing her father's hand. Thomas looked at his daughter, tall, confident, a partner in their shared dream. They had done more than survive. They had created a new path, a new beginning. The photograph of his wife seemed to smile, a silent witness to their incredible journey of hope, love, and determination. Millbrook had watched a family transform challenges into opportunity. Thomas and Emma Baker had become more than survivors, they were creators of their own destiny. "We're going to be okay," Thomas whispered, understanding that they were now writing a new chapter of their lives. The end. Universal message: true success comes from love, determination, and believing in each other, even when the path seems impossible.